Okay, here we are at the Blue Star Aquaculture Project, and here we have the Pathfinder kids, the muscle behind this project, taking a break, and they're sitting under this wonderful grandfather tree who is giving us shade. And as I spoke about yesterday, all the wonderful plants that are growing under the shade of this tree. And I forgot to mention nettle, which is an incredible plant. It's an herb for a lot of kinds of healing. It's got a lot of minerals in it, so it's good to make a tea. It's good for a hair rinse. And nettle is also good to make a mixture of nettle and let it sit for a month and sort of rot, and then spray it on your plants. They do that in France, and it's supposed to give plants a lot of immunity. And here we have the first ring we constructed for this project, and as you can see, we also have Chris's car out here playing some heavy-duty rock and roll music that these guys like to listen to while we work out here. Now we've got a lot of stuff to talk about in this garden here. So we're going to walk over here, and hopefully I'm not jiggling this camera too much. And you can see we started this in basically planting in June, so it was a little late. And we have got all these beds covered with straw or hay. Straw is a little tough to come by this year, so we're having to use some hay and other mulch. Now here on this outer ring, I planted some amaranth. Now it's late August, well, it's the middle of August, it's getting to be late August, so who knows how, this only has about a month and a half to grow. This amaranth may get to be 3 or 4 feet. Next year I'm going to plant amaranth, and it should get to maybe 10, 12 feet tall. This is the edible amaranth, and you can buy this just at any health food store. It's a cereal. Here we have some corn that I planted probably 3 weeks ago coming up. And you can see it's among the, it's very loosely planted. There's some grasses coming back. We're not going to worry about that, because what we are doing is injecting all of these roots of these plants with mycelium fungi, which will enrich the soil, and the soil will never be turned again. We'll just, you know, plant things gently in the top, in the straw, in the hay, whatever we have. Now we have an entrance here. These spirals are a meditation walk, and when they're all planted, you're not going to be able, you're going to be inside here, and you're not going to be able to see your way out. As you can see, we have, you can see these walkways. I think you can see clearly in the camera now. Hopefully my camera work is not too... That's a nice deep path here. Some of these paths are a little thin to walk through at the moment, but we are, with walking, we will, you know, they'll spread out and they'll get a little more user-friendly. Here we have some basil and all kinds of plants that are growing well. Now these are things that, outer rings, we got to maybe the middle of July we got these done. So it's only been a month that you've even finished this part of it. Now we look at the inner rings. This is where we started. I want to show you the difference. This was planted in the beginning of June. And look, let me get down here and show you. Corn and beans growing up. Look how these things are. Now this is a Three Sisters garden, and I have to call it a Two Sisters garden because I had a little trouble getting the squash to go in this garden this time. Only because it was late in June, and I think the bugs kept attacking my squash every time I planted it. The other things grew well. Now there's a squash over here. Somehow the bugs didn't have a problem with that squash. We have fennel, we have sunflowers, we have tomatoes, and lots of tomatoes. These tomatoes were given to us, and they were tall, spindly plants. These were mostly early girls, and they are doing really well. We got lots of tomatoes. We picked our first red tomato yesterday, and it was great. Potatoes on this row. Here's some close-up of some fennel. What else we got here? Here is some cardinal flower that's going to be crawling up here and blooming nicely to attract some beneficial insects and butterflies and things. So come along here, I got something to show you. We got a visitor. We had squash bugs on this squash, and I'm sort of I'm seeing what kind of beneficial insects may come and save my squash. So I'm sort of letting things happen in this garden this year. It's an experiment. Squash seems to be outrunning the squash bugs. And I want to show you guys something over here. Now you see, look at this tomato. You see, it's been eaten up. And you say, what could have done this? Well, we're going to look down here and see if we can find him. I may have to pick him up, see if I can grab him, get my hand in there. And this guy, I think is the only guy, this guy moved from another plant. How he got over here, I don't know. But look at this tomato worm. See his feet? He's got these feet on the bottom. He doesn't like me holding on to him. He's got a little stinger thing on the back. I don't know if you can see that little stinger. I don't know what he does with that thing. I'll have to look this guy up, a little more details about him. But this guy's really voracious. I mean, he just loves this tomato plant. He's sort of my pet now, so I said, well, you can have 1 or 2 plants, you know. That's all he gets. The rest of them, you know, I'll have to do something about it if he starts eating everything, but I'll put this guy back. But look at him. I don't know if he wants to say hello to the world on the internet or not, but he, you know, whoever thought he was bored he'd become famous. This worm, but you know, fame just hits you on blindsides you sometimes. You never know if you're going to be famous or not, and this worm is definitely famous. Let me set this guy back. I don't know where he was. Maybe he wants to be where he was. He's pretty good. He'll grab onto that branch pretty fast. You know, he won't fall off. He's ready to grab onto a tomato branch. So anyway, as I say, the richness of nature is amazing, and you know, I can't wait till these beans, you know, are growing or blooming, and hopefully they'll start blooming soon and having beans. It's getting late. You know, these guys were planted pretty late this year, so we got off to a late start, but we have, you know, if this is any sign of what this is going to be like next year, when we have time to really plant this thing from early spring on, you know, this thing is going to be an amazing looking garden. So this is Dr. Dirt and an update on August 19th, which is the day after my birthday, which was yesterday. And over and out.